All right, and we're live, and wow, it is happening. We do have the sell-off going on, and we have more going on. It is Halloween. Mark, you have hair.
Thought match you, Marcus.
It matches perfectly. It matches perfectly. Okay. Wow, it is definitely a spooky day. So the S&P 500 tumbles for the second day. Mark has hair. We have news from Meta, formerly known as Facebook, and it is shocking. Microsoft guidance sends stocks spiraling. Today, a brutal sell-off so far, and we'll see after the bell. We have Amazon and Apple reporting next. So can they save the day? And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. And today is Thursday, October 31st. It is Halloween and Happy Hair Day.
Halloween and happy hair day. Gosh, I don't know how you do it, Marcus. It's too much. You need
I know.
to shave.
Okay. Now, before we get started, you see that I have a little bit of a weird background. So just to let you know, right now I'm joining you from inside the RV. I wanted to cut out the beers, but haven't had enough time. Anyhow, so we are at the Lost Dutchman State Park in Arizona. This is our review, and I'm inside this rig doing this coffee with Marcus and Mark. And oh my gosh, Mark, there is a lot going on here. We should just dive right into it. I can't get over the hair. All right. So let's start with the S&P 500. Look at this. So sharp sell-off today, down 1.5%. The Nasdaq down 2.3%. The Dow down 1%, and the VIX spiking 13% up. So what's happening here?
You know what, Marcus? It's really interesting because we're seeing some mixed tech earnings this week, and Meta and Microsoft both reported yesterday after the bell. Although they had earnings beats, there was some disappointing guidance for Meta, their user growth expectations. Well, there you have Microsoft, weak guidance, and there you go with Meta, misses on user growth, and also warning of a substantial increase in spending for 2025.
Right, and this is where this morning, if we hop over on the heat map, we see what's going on. It is just a brutal sell-off in tech, dragging down the Nasdaq and therefore also the other indices. We see that, first of all, Microsoft down 5.6%, Meta down 3.3%. And then also over the past few weeks, over the past few days, we had some news from the semiconductors and the sell-off in the semiconductors seem to continue.
Yeah, AMD getting hit big, down 10% yesterday. So just a nasty day. We see that right now it's continuing down almost 2%. We had Google or Alphabet earnings on Wednesday. Seemed like things were okay, but after that, just a couple of guidance issues that are sending stocks lower. One thing that was interesting, Marcus, is when I had our mastermind call this morning, I was looking at overnight trading and we were down about 0.6%. But a lot of that actually happened during the European session. It wasn't just a complete reaction to earnings. It seemed like it kind of snowballed into a bigger issue. And then we did have some reports this morning that actually weren't too bad.
Right. So if you go to the calendars and the economic calendar, this morning we did have the big one, the core PCE price index. And I mean, the core PCE price index came in line with expectations. I mean, it looks right now, oh, we increased from the previous month from 0.2 to 0.3%. But I mean, overall, it's good news when it comes to the core PCE price index.
Yeah, and so this means that inflation rose at a 2.1% rate. There you go with the headline for September. And that was in line with expectations and pretty much in line with what the Fed targets. So this was not a bad reading at all.
Right. So the Fed targets 2%. We are 2.1%. So you could almost say mission accomplished. And then the other big one this week is, of course, the jobs report. But so far, I think that we got some pretty good news from the jobs market.
Yeah, I mean Jolt's job openings did show that we had fewer openings, but then ADP private payrolls looked really good. And then this morning we had unemployment claims coming in lower than expected. And there were some concerns about what jobs would look like this week with the different reports, especially with the hurricanes that the East Coast had to deal with, and maybe that impacting unemployment claims and also jobs in general. But so far, it's been decent, although the biggie comes tomorrow.
Right. I mean, so far, all is pointing to a good day tomorrow when we have the main jobs report. I mean, but it's kind of overshadowed by all of the earnings that we have going on, right? I mean, this morning, Meta and Facebook, no, Meta and Microsoft dragging it down. After the bell, we have Apple and Amazon reporting earnings. So, I mean, it's kind of like, let's do this because we did have this week the Magnificent Seven. We had five of the Magnificent Seven reporting earnings. Google, as you said, good. Now we have two negative. So now the question is, what will happen today after the bell? And I mean, last week we had Tesla, and Tesla, of course, Stella just skyrocketing 22%. So that was amazing. So far, if you look at it, I mean, we are 2 for 2.
Yeah, and more to come. So I think tomorrow could be a big day between the reports after the bell and then jobs before the bell. That's a interesting combination of news and earnings.
Yeah. So far, looking at a 5 minute chart, the S&P, all the indices are just sliding, trading at session lows right now. So disappointment. So the question is, has the Fed kept interest rates too high for too long? And this, if you look at the Fed Watch tool, next Thursday, a day later than usually, we have the next announcement, and traders are now factoring in a quarter percentage point that the Fed will lower it with 94.5% probability.
And I think that's what's going to be done. And the wording and also what's expected in the future is going to be in the spotlight and focus. We also have the election on Tuesday. And right now, that's going to be interesting because we see polls pointing one direction, but a lot of these betting websites pointing the other. So a lot of uncertainty there.
Yeah, and especially if you look at DJT, Truth Social or Trump Media here, the company behind it. Look at this. I mean, recently just skyrocketing higher. If you look at this move over the last few days, I mean, 370% higher today, down 14%. So this were exactly what you say. I mean, it seems to be everything is possible next week, and we will know more next Tuesday night and definitely Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Anyhow, nervousness in the markets. The VIX up 13%, and if you look at the S&P and we look at the 50-day moving average, we are getting awfully close to the 50-day moving average, which hangs right at 5,700. Another magic number here.
Interesting that we're so close to that moving average, but you know what? I think pullbacks are good and healthy for the market, and it can attract some buying as long as there isn't some major weakness or concerns about the immediate future. So this could be good, but we'll see where the day ends up.
Yeah. All right, let's look at our positions because, I mean, with a day like this is where, of course, we also have quite a few positions on and we'll see how they're doing. Well, let's talk about exits first. And one of the exits that we had this morning was MET, MetLife, really after earnings, moving massively lower. I mean, look at this earnings miss and also providing weak guidance going into 2025.
Yeah, this wasn't what we had hoped for. A Tesla, we had this huge upside reaction to earnings, and so it was fun holding that into earnings. But then now we're seeing the opposite effect of holding into earnings. There's always going to be a little earnings risk.
Yeah. All right, no new signals yet, but I expect some new signals tomorrow after today's pullback. But let's see where we stand. So CL, Colgate, Palmolive. I mean, hanging in there. I mean, I'm happy with this one. We entered at 94.56, right now trading at 94.72. So still up and bouncing nicely off the 200-day moving average. So this seems to be hanging in there so far. So good.
Yeah.
Next up, Duke Energy, ticker symbol DUK. Same here, same here, hanging in there. I mean, we entered at 115.03, right now trading at 114.30. I mean, just down 70 cents on a day like this. I mean, this is where I take it. For the day, even up Duke Energy. And this is where we often have this rotation out of the tech stocks into the good old dividend payers because we see Duke Energy here, a dividend payment of 3.5%. I mean, this is where often money goes back into conservative stocks like energy stocks, and Duke Energy seems to be benefiting from this today.
Looks like it. I'll take that when the rest of the market's down.
Yeah. Then we also have GE Aerospace today down 2.25%. And let's talk about this because that's kind of an interesting one. We did something with this morning.
Yes. And this is where, based on our testing and experience, there are some opportunities that can present themselves when we get a pullback here. Being down 5%, I decided to pick up more shares. And Marcus, I believe you did as well.
Yes, so at a pullback of 5%, this was, I believe, at 170.72. Does that sound about right? I believe this is where we picked up some more shares.
Yep, 170.72 on the dot.
Right. So right now trading at 170.69. So we'll see. This lowers now our cost basis to, I don't know, we'll see tomorrow when I update my trading log, but it should be somewhere around 175-ish, right?
True.
Which is, of course, a much easier way to get back to. So we'll see. GHC, we both skipped this one, did not trade this one. And then we have HON. Honeywell, also Honeywell today hanging in there. I mean, we entered at 208.04, right now trading at 204. And today, unchanged on a day like this, I'll take it.
Agreed.
Coca-Cola down half percentage point today, also hanging in there. That's another stock that we are in. MetLife, we just talked about it. We got stopped out of this one. And then we picked up ExxonMobil and energy stocks up today with crude oil moving a little bit higher. So here we bought it at 117.66, right now trading at 117.79. So I'll take this and up almost 1% for the day.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So lots of action here. Right now, we do have 6 open positions, right? Yeah, I have 6 open positions.
Yep.
You should have 6 as well.
Yep.
Okay, 6 open positions. So definitely some slots available if we have some more opportunities tomorrow. Hopping over to the wheel and seeing what is happening here. First up, CSIQ. I mean, after uh, what a week or a couple of weeks for CSIQ, right, Mark?
Oh, it's been going all over the place, and it looks like it's settling right here. So, I mean, this is where after a big rally and then a pullback here, if it starts to settle, it could be ripe for another move higher. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, down right now 0.6%. I mean, considering the overall market, I mean, it's definitely hanging in there. And we did have this down day. When was it? On Tuesday, I believe. After, yeah, there was rumors about copyright infringements or patent violations, something like this. But it seems to be shaking it off and right now stabilizing around 14. But hey, I loved it when it was on a tear again, going up to 16.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that continuing.
Yeah. All right, BP. This is another stock that you're in, and today BP just around the unchanged mark. Where's crude oil this morning? I haven't had a chance to check it yet.
Up a
Okay.
little more than 1%.
Yeah. All right, so this is where it seems that for BP, a little bit tug of war, crude oil on the one hand up, or the overall stock market down. So right now, this is where it's unchanged, actually just ticked up by 1 cent. HL, Halliburton this morning also was up a little bit higher, right now being dragged down as the markets are selling off on Halloween. Wow, what a coincidence. And still up 0.3%, nothing for us to do just yet. Coles going down with the overall market, down 1.2%. Nothing to do. I was able to collect some more premium, lowering my break even to 19.59. So loving this right now, not being able to sell calls here. Excuse me. And then Merck also reporting earnings this morning. And markets not liking what Merck had to report this morning. Although they're bouncing off their lows right now, but still down 3% for the day. And then we have UPS. UPS.
UPS.
UPS finding a new range. And I mean, we just need to use a really, really, really big marker and draw this trend line
There you
here. And so I decided to draw a new trend channel. There we go. What do you think
there you
about this one?
I love it. I love it. And we've had a little bit of a pullback towards that gap fill. Now being up on a down day, let's just make another move back up towards those earnings highs.
Yeah, up 0.28%. I'll take this. All right. So this is what's happening with our positions, and there is some action going on in the markets, and we will take a look at this here in just a moment. And before we do, I mean, since you won the dad joke contest by default this week, today there's a little bit more competition. So I mean, I honestly think that just with this hair alone, you win by default. But let's see, can you top this with a good dad joke?
Maybe not. But I have to go with the theme of the day. And what kind of vehicle does Frankenstein drive?
I don't know.
A monster truck.
Okay. Okay.
what
Well,
what what do vegetarian zombies eat?
oh, okay.
Grains. All right,
Okay.
enough of the Halloween stuff.
All right. Man, I don't even know if I should tell mom. Since you get a double whammy from you and the awesome costume. All right. But let me ask you this. What do you get when you cross a brown chicken and a brown cow? Brown
What?
chicken, brown cow.
What?
All right, let's go back to the markets. And I mean, there's nothing to laugh in the markets. The S&P still trading at session lows. The Nasdaq now down 2.37%, trading at session lows. The S&P only 25 points away from hitting the 50-day moving average and the magic 5,700 level. The Dow, the best one of the bunch here this morning, down only 0.9%. And then we also have the Russell, the small caps here, the Russell 2000, trading at session lows, down 1.1%. So, Mark, do you think the sell off is over right now, or will it intensify as the day goes on?
I mean, this is a pretty decent sell-off. So it could go either way, but I think we might get a little more. A little more.
All right. You know what? Okay, I'm calling it and I say this is the line in the sand. Right now, we have seen the lows for the day and now we start bouncing back. Now, it will still be a negative day. For me, there's no doubt about it. There's no way, from in my mind, that we can come back and have this massive rally here. But I do believe that right now the worst is over for today, and that now the markets are waiting for what we said: Amazon and Apple earnings after the bell. Magnificent Seven continue to report and seeing if they can save the tech sector and therefore the Nasdaq and therefore probably the overall market.
That's what we're waiting for.
All right, let's see. So as you can see, lots of action, and you don't want to miss the next show. Also, I want to see if Mark can get his hair under control tomorrow. So if you like today's show, give us a like. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and this way you get notified whenever we go live. And let us know what you think about this show, our dad jokes, and Mark's amazing hair. I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous. Leave a comment, and then we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, man.
Yeah, and happy Halloween.